Thank you, Taoiseach.
Thanks. I'll try and regain some time here, so I'd be looking for a very short answer, Taoiseach, for my first question. I think it is undeniable that we've seen a massive propaganda campaign in the last week and more to attack those on the pandemic unemployment payment. You had millionaires like Pat McDonough complaining that it's tough to get part-time workers to work in Supermax for €200 a week because of the payment. You had government ministers suggesting it's unsustainable, continue to pay it. You had Deputy Anne Rabbitte saying that people were, quote, a hell of a lot better off due to the payment. And my first question, Taoiseach, is very simple. It requires 10 seconds to answer. Are you willing to live on €350 a week before you cut it for anybody and to see what it's actually like?
Thanks, Deputy. I'm willing to live on whatever salary I'm given for the job that I'm doing. That's how these things work. I appreciate your argument is that everyone should be paid the same. You don't say what that would be or how that would be funded. But you know, Deputy, that's your choice if you want to demonstrate to do it.
No, my argument is very simple, is that before you go and cut anybody's pay who's currently on €350 a week, you should see what it's like to live on it. Everything about this propaganda campaign reminds me of your welfare cheats, cheat us all campaign that was rolled out when you were Minister for Social Protection. It's the same attempt to divide and rule workers, the same scaremongering and exaggeration about people scamming the system, the same underlying motivation of driving people to work for poverty wages. And what emerged at the root of that campaign was a big lie. The Taoiseach, formerly the Minister, had claimed that the amount saved by people reporting others for social welfare fraud was €500 million. It turned out that the real figure was less than 10% of that, less than €50 million. And I have to say whether I wonder the same sort of creative accounting is being used in this propaganda campaign. Last Thursday, the Irish Times had an unpublished report, presumably leaked from the Department of Business, which talks about, quote, 38% of recipients previously earning less than €300 per week. And that was used, including by the Taoiseach, to suggest that a huge number of people are better off under the pandemic unemployment payment, that 40% of people. Taoiseach, that's not true, is it? Isn't it the case that of the 38% supposedly better off, a substantial number were already in receipt of social welfare payments before, which meant that their total income was already higher than the €350? The article refers to over 200,000 people being better off unemployed than while they were working. But that 200,000 includes a very substantial number of the 40,000 on the one-parent family payment, the 50,000 on the working family payment, the 5,000 on the back-to-work family dividend, and the 35,000 part-time workers who were previously in receipt of job seekers' allowance along with their wages. So, Taoiseach, can you please confirm that the reference to pre-COVID income in that report does not include their social welfare payment, and therefore the suggestion which you have echoed, that 38% of people who are on the pandemic unemployment payment are better off, is simply not accurate?
Taoiseach, just 30.
Thanks, Deputy. I can't confirm or deny that. I don't have the report in front of me, although I do think it was published actually either last Friday or the Friday before. But if you've heard what I've said about this publicly on a number of occasions, I have acknowledged that there are actually people who would be better off on ordinary long-standing welfare payments than on the pandemic unemployment payment. Yes, there are people who were part-time workers in January and February who are now better off on the pandemic unemployment payment. There are also people who are on the pandemic unemployment payment now who would be better off if they were moved to job seekers, largely people who have dependents, or moved to other payments, like, for example, the one-parent family payment. So there are anomalies in both directions, and I've always acknowledged that. This was a temporary measure brought in during an emergency, had to be done quickly. Everyone got a flat amount. But over time, we need to reconcile that so that those who got more than they would have got normally have their payments tapered, and those who've been left short and would be better off on other welfare schemes are moved to those welfare schemes and get the increase that they're entitled to.
Thank you, Taoiseach. We now move to